Good morning and welcome to NASA's Johnson Space Center for our Artemis II Crew News Conference. We're joined today by Artemis II Commander Reed Wiseman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Cook, and Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen of the Canadian Space Agency. We'll be taking questions today from here in the room through our phone bridge and from media staged at the Canadian Space Agency. But before we get started, we'll kick it off with some opening remarks from our crew. Reed, take it away.
All right, thanks, Courtney, and thanks to everyone for being here and watching online. Victor, Christina, Jeremy, we're going to the moon. It has been an amazing journey the last 2.5 years, and we really see the light at the end of the tunnel. That was a good hype video. There's a couple things I want to highlight before I hand over to my friend Victor. This is a test mission, and it was highlighted up there. I know this week NASA has said that we're going to open the launch window in early February, and we just do not anchor on dates. We are going to launch when this vehicle is ready, when this team is ready, and we are going to go execute this mission to the best of our abilities. When we get off the planet, we might come right back home. We might spend 3 or 4 days around Earth. We might go to the moon. That's where we want to go, but it is a test mission, and we are ready for every scenario as we ride this amazing space launch system in the Orion spacecraft 250,000 miles away. It's going to be amazing. So what have we been doing the last 2.5 years? I feel like we've gotten to know a lot of you in the audience. You've gotten to know us. We really have crisscrossed the United States of America. We've been out west, we've been out east, we've been in the Midwest, we've been here in Houston, we've been overseas. We went over to Germany to see where the European Service Module is manufactured. We went to Iceland and did geology training where the Apollo crews trained for their historic missions to the moon. We've been up to Canada to pay homage to our friends up north. We have been all over, and everywhere we go, there is unbelievable excitement. I wish we could take you all with us so you could see the excitement that is out there. It is palpable. While we have been doing that, 2 things have really come into focus. First, the first time we saw our boosters was out in Utah, and they were just segments getting loaded onto a rail car to get shipped down to Kennedy Space Center. Jeremy and I were at Michoud when our core stage rolled out, got put onto a barge, and floated over to Kennedy Space Center. And I guess 2 weeks ago, we were at Kennedy, and there was the Orion spacecraft getting enshrouded in the launch abort system in the facility called the LASIF. Over in the vehicle assembly building, there's our core stage. The boosters are all assembled. They're strapped on the side of the Boeing core stage, and the United Launch Alliance interim cryogenic propulsion stage has made it to the top. And you can go up to the 274-foot level where the crew access arm is in the White Room. We were just there, and you can look down on this behemoth beneath you and just think, I think that it's already 3.5 million pounds. It's unfueled sitting on that pad right now, and it's not even fully assembled, but it is so close. So you can see all this hardware, all these elements are there, and it's just waiting for its crew and its launch team. The second thing that you see, though, when you go around is what really matters the most to us. It is the people that are putting this thing together. When you walk in the vehicle assembly building and you see these young men and women, these are the people you want building your rocket. They're covered in tattoos, they're wearing hard hats, they've got huge harnesses on, they're getting roped in, going up to unimaginable heights, putting their lives at risk, putting themselves in danger, and they're doing it with a calm confidence every single day. And those are the people that you leave in awe of. They have the courage to stop an evolution if it is unsafe. They even stopped us when we were in Utah and we were carrying on like 4 children looking at these boosters, and they came over and said, please quiet down, we have a critical lift in progress over here. They have the courage to do the right thing. And it has been amazing. We get to see the American public, we get to see all of our international partners. Getting to know these people is incredible. And then the last thing that we've gotten to do is we have just built a tremendous amount of trust between the 4 of us and between our leadership who we interact with every day. Our commercial partner leadership and our NASA agency leadership. It is a fine organization, and we are proud to be a part of it. We were in a sim yesterday, Victor and I, and we had a failure. Quick anecdote. We had a failure, and I read the whole failure, but I read one number wrong. I said IMU3 failed, and our instructor behind us was like, it's IMU2, it's IMU2. And Victor turns around and goes, I knew what he meant. It was IMU2. And I was like, it is so great. You know, we don't even have to talk. We know exactly what we're all thinking. So this crew cohesion, we're at the point now where we are ready to go fly. And with that, I will hand it over to my friend Victor.
Oh, man. I don't want to say anything else. I'm ready to go into questions. That was great. Well said, well said. So, you've had the mission overview briefings, and thank you for being here for this multi-day slog and allowing us to share what we're privileged to do with the public. So, the mission is 10 days, 9-point-something days, and we're going to go fly by the moon on the 6th day. I just want to share with you a little bit about the first day. And so here's a picture of the timeline. And I know that that's too small for it to be really useful to you, but I'm just going to keep holding this up here because you can at least tell that there's a bunch of different colored lines on this chart. And I'm going to talk about a few of them. And the first one is that we actually start the day that we launch 7 hours before launch, waking up in crew quarters to get medical checks and a weather brief and to work with our team to start making sure that we're ready to go out to the launch. And when the Exploration Ground Systems team and the team in Launch Control says that things are looking good and send the crew, we'll drive out to the pad. And so 3 to 4 hours prior, we'll start to ingress the vehicle. And then he talked about the stack weighing about 3.5 million pounds. When it's all fueled up, it'll be about 5.5 million pounds, but 8.8 million pounds of thrust at sea level. Mass flow is going to rocket us towards space. And about 9 minutes after that, we'll be in space. And then the day gets even busier. Now, we've been up for almost a full work day at this point. And so once we get to space, the ascent portion really ends after about a half an orbit when we're going to go from a 1,200 mile by 0 mile orbit to doing what we call a perigee-raise maneuver that gets us into a stable and sustainable orbit.
We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation.
And then we're going to get a couple of us out of our seats and start to check out really critical systems, the water system and the toilet.
Very important.
Got to have a toilet to go to the moon. And so we're going to be working as a team and working with mission control to make sure that the vehicle is ready. And then we're going to go around the Earth in about the same amount of time that the International Space Station goes around the Earth, in 90 minutes. And once we get to that closest point to the Earth or perigee, we're going to do something called an apogee-raise burn. And that apogee-raise burn is going to get us going into an orbit that humans have never been in. Humans have never been in, almost 40,000 miles away from the Earth on one end. And then we'll do a perigee-raise burn to get us back above 100 miles or so on the close side. But right after that apogee-raise burn on the interim cryogenic propulsion stage, we're going to disconnect from that upper stage and then turn around and fly and approach to it. And we're going to fly it by hand. And we're going to make sure that the flying qualities of the Orion spacecraft are suitable for the more complex missions where we're going to dock to a lander or to the Gateway, the orbiting space station around the moon. And then once we're done with that, we're going to continue to reconfigure the cabin to make sure that it's ready for us to live and to work for the next 9 days. We're going to break down the seats. We're going to make sure the environmental control system is ready. And then we're going to monitor a few burns. And that first day, we're going to take a nap and then wake up and observe a burn in the middle of the night. We're going to go back to sleep, take another nap, wake up, and then we're going to have the lead up working very tightly with our friends here in Houston and Mission Control, leading up to trans-lunar injection. And when that team is ready and gives us the go, we're going to burn the engines and head toward the moon. And that actually happens, if you were looking at my chart, that happens on this second row right here. And that's the point where we're going to wrap that day up and actually have a normal sleep period. And so I just wanted to share with you a little bit of how busy and how many really critical things are going to happen on that first day. Some really amazing things are going to happen every day after that. And to talk a little bit more about the scientific activities that we're going to conduct, I'm going to pass it over to Christina. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Victor. I'm both super pumped and very tired, having heard all of that. But it's great to be with you this morning. And the thing I love about the moon is that it's not just a beacon for exploration and this platform of possibilities for incredible missions like this, but it has benefits. That's actually why we're racing towards it. Those benefits are really, really wide in nature. You have everything from innovation, technology development, not only for future missions going deeper into the solar system and everything, technology that it enables those, but technologies as it come back to Earth. You have industry benefits. We are going with commercial partners, and we are stronger with a strong aerospace industry doing manufacturing here in the country and building up that expertise that actually has a wide range of applications throughout our industrial world. You have inspiration, a whole generation of people starting this pipeline of STEM workers and manufacturers and operators that are excited to see what you can do when you work hard and you come together as a team. And then, of course, the discovery or the science. And I'm going to talk more about that because that's actually where we get to be a huge part of this mission. The science on Artemis and our mission in particular is kind of three different types. The first one is CubeSats. Our spacecraft, or the rocket itself, is actually going to be deploying some CubeSats from countries from 4 different continents. They're going to be studying things like space science, radiation, future communication systems, and some of that technology development that's so important. And the next kind of science is actually human research, science that we are participating in ourselves. There's 4 major experiments on our mission, and we're excited to be a part of all of them. One we call Archer. That one is basically something where we're learning how humans how we really get through these tough deep space exploration missions. We learn about cognition, we learn about sleep hygiene, we learn how we can maximally perform when we go on these, these environments that are so austere. Another one is called Avatar, and we are actually going to be flying with cells put into tissue chips from our own bodies to see the effects of space, the space environment on those cells. Tissue chips is an incredible technology. I had the privilege of working with them on my first ISS mission, and it was really a privilege because it represents a way to see the physicality and not just the cellular reactions of our bodies to these environments. We're doing a bioimmunity markers type of study. A fascinating thing about the space environment is that it actually changes the immune systems of our bodies, and that's really important to us and our friends. Many of us had experienced those things when we went to the ISS, and we're going to really have to have a handle on that for long-duration missions. And then finally, a mission or an experiment called Standard Measures, and this one I love because it basically encompasses everything you can possibly think about to measure about the human body and puts it in a repository. So things we haven't even thought of yet, questions we haven't even thought that we need to answer yet, and maybe methods for answering those questions that haven't even been invented yet can still be applied to all of the people that have flown in space in the future by having this repository of information. So those are some of the human research experiments we're going to be a part of. But then, of course, there's the big hitter, the lunar geology, which is actually just another way of saying solar system formation science. Learning, gaining knowledge about how these planetary systems evolve around a sun, around an energy source. We can take that information and we can apply it to other solar systems all around the universe. We have had such a fun time training for this part of the mission. Our closest approach to the moon is actually going to be scheduled. We get to take 3 full hours and devote it to nothing other than observing the lunar surface. And depending on the time that we launch, depending on the illumination of the far side of the moon, we hope it's not the dark side. We hope it's the lit far side, because that could mean that we could see parts of the moon that never have had human eyes lay upon them before. And believe it or not, human eyes are one of the best scientific instruments that we have. Our geologists are beyond excited for our eyes to look at the moon, and we've been training how to turn those observations into tangible science for them. There are incredible basins on the moon. Some of them are in this picture behind me. One, for example, Oriental Basin. It is this gem of a basin that basically is like the archetype, the Grand Canyon, solar system wide, that can tell us about solar system formation. And really, to me, what does this all boil down to? And that is answering some of the biggest questions of our time. Questions like, are we alone? We can answer that by going to Mars in the future, and this mission can be the first step in bringing that answer back to Team Humanity. And I'll turn it over to Jeremy now.
I knew I was next. I just want to talk about mission success for us, just to start there. Everything you've heard described this morning, we look through the lens of mission success, which is Artemis 3 getting back to the surface of the moon. And so we do all of this training, all this preparation, we're buying down all this risk, always thinking about what are we handing off to the next crew? Is what we're developing going to help them achieve that objective? That's just a really neat way to look at this. the night before when you're going to bed, a day like this, it puts things into perspective for you. And I took a moment to kind of step back and think about, wow, what an extraordinary privilege it is to train with my fellow crewmates here to go on this mission, to train alongside our backup astronauts, Andre Douglas and Jenny Gibbons from the Canadian Space Agency, who are right now working hard on getting ready for the mission while we're up here today. And of course, the broader team, the entire team that enables us to go do this. It truly is an absolute privilege. And for us, Artemis 2 is about much more than just going back to the moon. It is about the pursuit of excellence. And just let me speak first to our American partners. You should be extraordinarily proud of your space leadership that you have held for over half a century. You are constantly in that pursuit of excellence. You have this incredible industry and academia who is supporting and leading us back to the moon with an eye of going to Mars. And it truly is extraordinary. And then you do one more thing that great leaders do, and that is you carve out space for others to join you, to bring their talents and gifts and make a contribution. And to my fellow Canadians, you should also be extraordinarily proud that we are represented in the Artemis program. And it wasn't a gift, you earned it. For over decades now, you have responded to that call, to that opportunity with a can-do attitude, and you have used strategic investments, and you have innovated and created things like Canadarm and many other examples that have put us in this position where we can earn our place on the global stage. And that's extraordinary. That is our can-do attitude. And when I think about the four of us flying around the far side of the moon, coming around, seeing that Earth rise, taking images and video and sending them back to you, the feeling that I have inside is hope. I just imagine when that is going to be like. And we know that Artemis 2 is not the solution for humanity on planet Earth, but it is a contribution in the positive column. We hope that just for a moment that people will pause and say, wow, it's extraordinary when you look back upon the Earth with over 8 billion people. And you see this concrete example of what humanity can do, this extraordinary thing when we set big goals and we work together to achieve them. Now, I just want to take a moment to say a few words in French for my fellow Canadians back home. Le Canada fait partie d'Artemis à cause de la leadership spatiale américaine. Et parce que ça donne l'exemple de qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire quand fixer des grands objectifs et on travaille ensemble de les faire. Comme Canadiens, nous pouvons être tellement fiers parce que nous avons répondu à l'appel et pendant des décennies, avec des investissements stratégiques, on a créé et innové des solutions comme le Canadarm, par exemple. Et maintenant, on va être le deuxième pays au monde à envoyer un humain dans l'espace lointain. Et si le Canada peut survoler la Lune, juste imaginez qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire ensuite. Hand it back to you, Reed.
Thanks. Well done.
All right, with that, we will begin taking questions. If you have a question here in the room, please raise your hand and we will get a microphone over to you. If you're on our phone bridge, please press *1. We'll start here in the room.
Hi, Andrea Leinfelder of the Houston Chronicle. We've heard a lot about how important your observations, your eyes will be on studying the moon and studying about its geology. So I want to hear more about that training. What's it been like to learn about the moon's geology and to be able to explain what you see to the people on the ground? Can you give me some examples of how you've trained and if it's been hard to learn about these different types of rocks?
We've been to the moon in Apollo, and so when we would go into this training and they're talking about us looking at the moon and all the things that we can bring, in the back of my mind, probably like in the back of yours, it's like we've been there, we've orbited the moon, we've seen these things before, so what is Artemis 2 going to bring that is new to this? And just based on our geometry as we fly around the moon, our science team put up a picture on a giant projector and it was the far side of the moon that has been seen by human eyes, and there is a very likely chance that we will see 60% of the far side that has never been seen by human eyes. Oriental has never been seen by human eyes, just because Apollo was always landing in lit sides of the moon, so the near side was lit, the far side was usually dark or crescent. And so we will very likely, depending on the launch,
Look different than most of the moon, but these areas also look the same. And they're wondering if the human eye will be able to pick up something that shows that this is different from that different. And that could actually point us to, now we want to go get more data there. This is where we want to send a rover next, because that we might see a subtle hue or a subtle glint. With our brain, as we go around, we're going to look at these sites over and over again from different sun angles, and that could give us some little hints. We might find nothing, but it's definitely worth looking. And now I'm totally bought in. We're going to be like, I hope we don't make something up. I hope we don't make something up.
I hope we don't make something up.
Because we're going to be, sometimes you see what you want to see.
Okay, we'll head over to our phone bridge. We'll start with Marcia Dunn with the Associated Press.
From Kennedy Space Center. For Reed and the rest of the crew, test flight means extra risk, even more when you're flying to the moon. How much more dangerous do you personally feel going into this mission compared with your previous space flights or other high-risk endeavors? And how are you and your families dealing with it? Thanks.
It's a great question. I'll start. I'll try to be brief. When you see numbers like Mach 39 at entry, when you see numbers like 38,000 miles, 250,000 miles, those are and 5-6 million pounds on the pad. Those are just insane numbers. Like, those are just not numbers that humans generally think about. We were flying in a sim yesterday and watching the miles click down. What did we say we were doing? Like 5 or 7 miles?
7 miles a second.
Coming back to Earth. So these numbers just you don't even comprehend. So there's risk in that. We don't know. We don't know what we don't know right now. So we'll go learn all of that. But at the end of the day, what feels so fundamentally different for me on this mission is that we have actually been there every single step of the way of the spacecraft being built. No astronaut gets that privilege. And we have had that privilege. That's what I said in the beginning. So for me, I actually feel completely 100% bought in. When I get in Orion, it's like climbing into my bed, and I'll feel warm and tucked in.
A metal and plastic bed.
What is the most important mystery you hope to solve by flying over the moon?
You know, what mystery would we solve? For me, it's not that it's a mystery, it's that it's a challenge. And I think for humanity, it's just critically important right now that we know what we're trying to achieve. And collaboration needs to be the ultimate goal if 8 billion of us are going to have a bright future on this planet. And so as we come around the far side, just having humanity stop for a moment and say, wow, look at what we can do when we work together. Let's just set goals to do a better job of that on this planet today.
All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you to our crew for your time and for being here. Thank you to our media who attended here in person and through our phone bridge and at the Canadian Space Agency. We'll see you next time.
We only have one window that has a view of the Earth, and it's filled up with a TV camera.
If the window was completely filled up with a TV camera, as he stated, then an astronaut's arm would not be able to get between the camera and the window, as it obviously does here in this outtake.
South America becomes invisible just off beyond the Terminator or inside the shadow.
You can also notice how the astronaut operating the camera reacted to the mistake by attempting to pan away from it.
Blue gas, see white bands of major cloud formations across the Earth.
This is a segment that they believed wasn't even being recorded, much less suitable for broadcast, for the lens was being zoomed out and the scene was being changed to that of an interior of the astronauts at work, and apparently the stop button popped back up on the recorder without notice. Here is the diffused work light that they used to see camera controls, but not throw light onto the spacecraft's wall. Here they remove part of the crescent insert. Finally, the iris is opened up. See the real location of the camera and the very bright and near Earth out the window. Here is the slate for the 19th of July.
You're over, but I think it's pretty good.
You're in the mix.
Remix.
With DJ NASA.
What makes a crew? A crew is people inescapably stroking together all the time, no matter what, every minute. Stroking helps you have a paddle. What struck me, it was all the blackness. All the blackness. Get up! All the blackness. Get up! All the blackness hanging undisturbingly, beautifully, dutifully linked. I was like, yeah. I got this. Open my mouth confidently. So, I know I haven't learned everything that all the blackness has yet to teach me.
Everything that came out of my mouth was completely without value. Yeah. Helps if you have a paddle. That'll be good. That'll make you a crew.
I have absolutely no idea what to say.
I'm afraid to start talking.
Reed just said it was a setup.
I have not processed
all the blackness.
What we just did.
All the blackness.
And I'm afraid to start even trying.
Yeah.
Doing what we did and being with who I was with.
All the blackness.
It's too big to just be in one body.
All the blackness. This journey started with knocking on my door in crew quarters and whispering,
I love you.
Uh-oh. I got this. Open my mouth confidently. Yeah. Get up!
Great words.
Uh-oh.
And that is a useful life skill.
Get up! All the blackness. Get up!
We have a term in our crew that we coined a long time ago, the joy train.
Stroking together.
You haven't heard us talk a lot about the science, the things we've learned, and that's because
all the blackness.
Sounds like you saw a lot of joy up there. There was a lot of joy. But we are committed to getting back on the joy train as soon as we can. And I don't think people will really ever fully comprehend
all the blackness
and extracting joy out of that.
I'm going to sit down.
It is almost unbelievable.
Thank you.
And now it's my honor to turn the floor over to Commander Reed Wiseman.
What's up? Yeah, let's sing. Let's sing real quick. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Integrity.
So we wear these Acta watches.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And if you hit this button, the red light lights up, which tells you got a good battery. And I don't know why, but for the last 2 years when we wear these, hey Hopper, for the last 2 years when we wear these things, it just kind of brings us back into focus whenever we get a little distracted. So we did a lot of syncing when we were on this mission for no reason whatsoever. I have absolutely no idea what to say. This is 24 hours ago, the Earth was that big out the window and we were doing Mach 39, and here we are back at Ellington at home. Every one of us are just going to give a couple words, but I get the mic first, so I'm going to start.
Flashback.
Victor, Christina, Jeremy, we're going to the moon. It has been an amazing journey the last 2.5. Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, we are bonded forever. And no one down here is ever going to know what the four of us just went through. And it was the most special thing that will ever happen in my life. And our families are over here, and with the exception of Dot, Susie, and Jeannie, who are in the audience, but I don't know where they are. But Dot, I'm going to hit McDonald's later today in honor of your husband. No one knows what the families went through, man. This was not easy. Being 200,000 plus miles away from home, like before you launch, it feels like it's the greatest dream on earth. And when you're out there, you just want to get back to your families and your friends. It's a special thing to be a human, and it's a special thing to be on planet Earth. Thank you.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, or I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen.
The only person who can follow that up is Victor Glover, so let's go.
And now we're ready for questions.
Earth to integrity, how is it that you guys haven't turned into Jello from an instant speed decrease of 11,000 miles an hour? Over.
3.5 minutes left in this blackout period. This is a visualization of the plasma buildup around the spacecraft and the repelling of that heat on Integrity's heat shield.
Yeah, Earth to integrity. We're looking at the live view right now, and we're not seeing the comet meteorite-like fiery plasma streak that's supposed to be behind you as shown in our visualization. Please confirm. And integrity, we're wondering how you're increasing your altitude by over 30 miles and your speed by over 600 miles per hour. Yeah, sorry to cause a problem up there for you guys, but we're looking at some of the ground views from our over $4 billion equipment, and we're seeing what looks like some kind of glitchy SpaceX spiral looking deal up there. Can you guys confirm what that might be, please? Earth to integrity, glitches are firmly in place, but will you please paint your blue spacecraft a metallic color for us? We're going to cut to blue screen.
You have the moon right there. Obviously, they're approaching the far side there because it's so dark.
All right, we just got confirmation. The crew is at the closest they are to the lunar surface, just about 4,000 miles for it.
Yeah, Earth to Orion. We're looking at your closest approach to the moon right now. We're just wondering when we're going to get that video of you guys from inside actually recording the moon from inside. No rush. Thanks. Yeah, Earth to Orion, we did get your photograph. We just were wondering why the moon is brown and not lit up. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, one more time. So we've got about 1 million more questions, but we're going to go ahead and get back to the press conference. It's very informative. We're learning a lot about the moon here. So thank you guys so much. You're all true heroes.
I'm going to keep it brief because I'm afraid to start talking. I have not processed what we just did, and I'm afraid to start even trying. When this started on April 3rd, I wanted to thank God in public, and I want to thank God again, because even bigger than my challenge trying to describe what we went through, the gratitude of seeing what we saw, doing what we did, and being with who I was with, it's too big to just be in one body. And I wanted to thank our families for everything that he just said. So great words, great words, great words. I love you, but not just those 5 beautiful cocoa skin ladies right there. All of you.
All right. In a recent interview, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, she said the psychedelic drug, sometimes known as Molly or ecstasy, helped her overcome a lifetime of debilitating stage fright. Interesting. Okay. She called it a game changer for her mental health. While it might sound unconventional, MDMA-assisted therapy is real.
But what's interesting about MDMA is it also works with a couple other receptors, including oxytocin. And oxytocin is a pro-social kind of it's called like the love drug. It induces some of these really positive feelings toward others.
I feel like almost the bigger story with this, which I learned as you were reading it, the fact that a performer had stage fright, and so she's trying to use this to overcome that.
And I wanted to thank our leadership. And it's changed since we were here in April of 2023. But the qualities haven't. And we are fortunate to be in this agency at this time together. And so I'm going to sit down. Thank you also to our air operations for this facility and for our ride home from San Diego. And I love you. Thank you.
Reed just said it was a setup for us who had to follow him. That's true. I couldn't sleep this morning, so I did write some words down in my mind, and I'm going to try and share them with you today. 10 days ago, this journey started with our mission manager, Sean Duvall, knocking on my door in crew quarters and whispering, "Christina, we're go for launch. Get up." And it ended last night when my nurse on the ship put me to bed and said, "Ma'am, can I get a hug?" So a lot has happened since then, but or between those two moments, but the start and the end were human moments here on Earth. So several years ago, I was giving a speech and I was doing my usual talk about crew and crewmates and teamwork, and someone asked the question, what makes a crew? What is different about a crew than a team? And I was like, I got this. Opened my mouth confidently to tell them everything I knew about being a crewmate. And everything that came out of my mouth was completely without value. I was like, yeah, crews, they're in space, and they work together, but they eat together too. So, they're a crew. And boats have crews. You're a crew if you're on a boat. Helps if you have a paddle. That'll be good. That'll make you a crew. But the last 10 days, I've gotten a little bit of a better answer on that question.
You're doing great.
A crew
emphasize teamwork.
Is people or, a group that is in it all the time, no matter what, that is stroking together every minute with the same purpose, that is willing to sacrifice silently for each other, that gives grace, that holds accountable.
Same cares, same needs.
A crew has the same cares and the same needs.
You guys have a professional connection together.
A crew is inescapably, beautifully dutifully linked.
My pizza's here. Improvise.
So when we saw Tiny Earth, people asked our crew what impressions we had. And honestly, what struck me wasn't necessarily just Earth, it was all the blackness around it. Earth was just this lifeboat hanging undisturbingly in the universe.
Extra sausage. Yeah, I'm supposed to have Italian sausage on mine. Okay. And do you need a tip, or did you already get a tip online?
Uh-oh.
Okay. No, his had the pepperoni. Mine was supposed to have the sausage and the pineapple. I know he doesn't like pineapple. Oh shit! Hold on.
I may have not learned. I know I haven't learned everything that this journey has yet to teach me.
Okay, I'm back. Talk about crews.
But there's one new thing I know, and that is planet Earth. You are a crew.
You're in the mix.
Remix.
With DJ NASA.
What makes a crew? A crew is people inescapably stroking together all the time, no matter what, every minute. Stroking helps me have a paddle. What struck me, it was all the blackness. All the blackness. Get up! All the blackness. Get up! All the blackness hanging undisturbingly, beautifully, dutifully linked. I was like, yeah. I got this. Open my mouth confidently. So, I know I haven't learned everything that all the blackness has yet to teach me.
Everything that came out of my mouth was completely without value. Yeah. Helps if you have a paddle. That'll be good. That'll make you a crew.
I have absolutely no idea what to say.
I'm afraid to start talking.
Reed just said it was a setup.
I have not processed
all the blackness.
What we just did.
All the blackness.
And I'm afraid to start even trying.
Yeah.
Doing what we did and being with who I was with.
All the blackness.
It's too big to just be in one body.
All the blackness. This journey started with knocking on my door in crew quarters and whispering,
I love you.
Uh-oh. I got this. Open my mouth confidently. Yeah. Get up!
Great words.
Uh-oh.
And that is a useful life skill.
Get up! All the blackness. Get up!
We have a term in our crew that we coined a long time ago, the joy train.
Stroking together.
You haven't heard us talk a lot about the science, the things we've learned, and that's because
all the blackness.
Sounds like you saw a lot of joy up there. There was a lot of joy. But we are committed to getting back on the joy train as soon as we can. And I don't think people will really ever fully comprehend
all the blackness
and extracting joy out of that.
I'm gonna sit down.
It is almost unbelievable.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a lot. This isn't helping. But this is the furthest I've been away from Reed in a long time. Thank you. All right, that's better. Thank you. I think, yeah, thank you.
Why are you gay? You are gay.
I think what I'd like to share today is maybe 3 of the human experiences for us. And you haven't heard us talk a lot about the science, the things we've learned, and that's because they're there, and they're incredible. But it's the human experience that is extraordinary for us. And it sounds like maybe for you too. And so I think I'll start with gratitude.
The next one is joy. We have a term in our crew that we coined a long time ago, the joy train. And sounds like you saw a lot of joy up there. There was a lot of joy. We're not always on the joy train, this crew. There are many times we're not on the joy train, but we are committed to getting back on the joy train as soon as we can. And that is a useful life skill for any team trying to get something done. And the last one is, I need your help for this. Come on up here, guys. The last one is love. What you saw was a group of people who loved contributing, having meaningful contribution, and extracting joy out of that. And what we've been hearing is that was something special for you to witness. And the reason I had them form up here with me is because I would suggest to you that when you look up here, you're not looking at us. We are a mirror reflecting you. And if you like what you see, then just look a little deeper. This is you. Come on.
Today is March 9th, 2018. I'm trying to get this uploaded before they have a chance to make a digital replica of my consciousness. They said in my next live stream I have to support transhumanism and break down altered carbon, basically supporting consciousness transferring. Before I could say no, they told me I don't have a choice. They said we have your DNA on file, and they've been using a consciousness replica algorithm with information gathered on me for my entire life. Okay, not only can they clone the body, but they can seemingly replicate the mind. Everything is being recorded and stored onto supercomputers. They're going to try to replace me. In my next live stream, some of you who have been watching my channel long enough should be able to tell if it's really me or if I've been replaced by a replicant. I gotta go. If you see a button that says click to upload consciousness, don't click on.
You're in the mix